Three, two, one. Hello and welcome to another free Secrets of OnPage with Josh Brzezinski. Today I'm going to be going over a lot of really good secrets that we have, how to rank into the AI overview, how to survive in Google, how to make sure you're saving thousands of dollars doing SEO, how to make sure you're making thousands of dollars more in SEO. And so stay to the end. We're going to be doing an Ask Me Anything for the Zoom participants, and you guys can ask me anything that you like on the right-hand side. Let me just make sure, let me get my earbuds in here. And let me make sure that we are broadcasting live to the YouTubes. And we are. I can hear the dulcet tones. I can hear my dulcet tones. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so make sure to like and subscribe and all those kinds of things as well. If you guys don't mind, I'm taking these out now. So if someone hears a noise, let me know because I won't be able to hear it because I got my earbuds. All right. So thanks for joining, guys. So it's April 18th, 2025, and SEO is alive and well, transformed into its Terminator form of artificial intelligence helping us doing SEO. Google's still the dominant search engine. ChatGPT and Perplexity is all the rage, but they have not broken into Google's search share at all, very appreciatively. I haven't seen any statistics that I trust, and I haven't seen any that are current. I see ones that predict in the future they may cut into Google's search share, but not now. And so Google's still the place to be, and there are billions of dollars of SEO dollars for you to cut out of that vein of gold. You can cut out your own $10,000, $100,000, $1 million out of that, and you can make your own money, either as a side hustle, or you can make your money as your main hustle. Is that what they call it? Your career, your job. I've been helping people having careers, having more successful SEO rankings, more successful SEO projects, and more successful SEO careers for 10, 15 years-ish. And I have been doing SEO for 30 years in total. So let's get into the secrets for today. If you guys have any questions, please ask them on the right-hand side. For those few folks who are here live in the Zoom, I think it's mostly AIs recording things. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 people. Woohoo! 4 people live today. It's kind of a sleepy Friday. Usually I have about twice that, but which are good numbers for this day and age of SEO. A lot of people have gotten out of it. Well, that's good. Good, I say. I say good riddance to you. More money for us. So that's a fantastic thing. Okay. So now that I'm fueled with Coca-Cola per Mexico, this is the Mexican Coca-Cola. You see that per Mexico? They like to sell that around here. I'm nowhere near Mexico. There's a country in between Canada and Mexico. I don't know why we have Mexico Coca-Cola up here. Must be the trade tariffs. Must be a tariff thing. I've solved the conspiracy. So that's just one of the conspiracies I'll solve today. Okay, so let's take a look here. Let's go in and take a look at the software we'll be looking at today. So I've got good news and I've got gooder news. So the good news is that SEO is still alive and well, is what I was trying to say earlier. And the gooder news is that we don't have to do it by hand anymore. We have an artificial intelligence to help us. In fact, we have artificial intelligence. We have AI that can do things for us that we never could do by hand before. So it's a fantastic thing. It's a brave new world. It's a brave new world. Is that the song? I don't know. A whole new world. That's the song I'm thinking of. Well, it's a brave new world. Same thing. So I want to show you this piece of software. It's because we've taken an SEO University, which I run. Underground SEO University is our full name, USEOU. We've been seriously scientifically testing Google to find the actual ranking factors. I decided to stop listening to everybody else in SEO because none of them knew what they were talking about. And I scientifically tested the ranking factors and we found them. I'm like Prometheus who snuck into Olympus to steal fire from the gods and teach you all how to make fire, right? And things have been fiery, things have been burning. And so that's good. We know these ranking factors, and so you can learn from the ranking factors. You can learn how to do this, and we wrapped a lot of that stuff up for OnPage into a really cool app called SEO Copilot, which I engineered, both the SEO of it, designed the SEO of it anyway. And so let's take a look, and let me show you some of the features we have here and why it's good to use this software for SEO in the 2025s. This is my demo account, which has got all that stuff. Okay, so this is the interface. It's super simple to use. It's super awesome to have a piece of software to be able to do on-page SEO. We used to do it by hand, and it took us like 20 hours a page. Now we've got that down to like an hour per page. So as you can imagine, that's quite the savings. That's what, 95% faster or something like that per page, and then we're saving that money as well. By the way, if you guys have any keywords you want me to work live while I'm going over the software, I'm happy to do so. Just put your keywords in the chat, either in the YouTube or if you're watching on YouTube, or on the right hand side for our Zoom call as well, or in the chat for the Zoom call as well. And so, but the question is, okay, so Josh, what does it automate though? What is important to automate in SEO? What does it automate and how does it work? Well, it's really simple. There's 3 steps. There's finding the ranking opportunities. Then there's finding the boosting on-page keywords. Then there's on the ranking opportunity, the keyword that you wanted to rank for to begin with, the search you want to rank for, and then there is stuffing said keywords into the page all over the place to get said on-page boosts. That is the 101 of how on-page works. That's how it's worked since the beginning. I don't know, somewhere along the way, like I said, I've been doing SEO since the late 90s, before Google even existed. And then much more professionally, I was doing it in the 2000s. And somewhere along the way, we've forgotten that the whole process of on-page, most people just think on-page is you look at your competitors to try and magically suss out what keywords they're using in what spots, and then you stick those keywords into your page and you cross your fingers and hope it works. That's kind of the standard on-page process that people are doing now. Well, I'm here to say that we've got a better process. Good news, we've got a better process. We have a process that is proven to work much, much more than the eyeball your competitors and then cross your fingers process or plan. The pray to God plan. We have a better plan than praying to God. No offense to people who pray and or to God. The lightning strikes. I'm like, oh no, I've made the deity angry. We have a much better plan. We have a much better plan than that is proven to work. And I'd love to share it with you today. And it starts with one step earlier, and that's finding the ranking opportunities. Finding the ranking opportunities. Or in other words, I'll just read what it says here. Our AI will scan thousands of keywords, tens of thousands in some cases, to find where your competitors are weak, where their SEO sucks, where they don't even know how to do SEO, where Google has kicked out everybody who knew how to do SEO. Like this race, this Mad Max, Road Warrior post-apocalyptic race of SEOs trying to rank ahead of everybody else has been going on for 25 years in some cases. And so there's some, Walmart sitting there in this post-apocalyptic metaphor that are completely full. No one's rated them yet. Or people were guarding them 10 years ago, but they've all since died off or moved on. And so now the Walmart is there ready for the taking. You can just walk right in and in this post-apocalyptic situation here, maybe I'm watching too much Last of Us, you can walk right in and just start pilfering the place because it's not guarded anymore because of the chaos of the last 25 years. And the SEO industry is not that dissimilar from that metaphor, right? People maybe 10 years ago were guarding your keywords heavily, and they had like 20,000 links, and they're like, oh, they're impossible to try to get out of there. But now they're gone. They went out of business, they moved on, they're doing something else. Google got rid of them, or they stopped, they forgot, they rested on their laurels, and they forgot how to do SEO, or they didn't change with the times. And now there's all these ranking opportunities where your competitors are weak. And that's what you need to find to succeed. It is of maximal importance. It is of maximal importance. Thank you, David. I'll look at that keyword. It is of maximal importance that you take this to heart, guys. Life is. I have some. Here's the first secret I'm going to tell you. I'll see those gray hair in my beard. I know a couple things. And the first thing I'm going to tell you is life's not fair. Sorry, that's the way it is. I know everyone wants life to be fair. We complain a lot about life not being fair on both sides of the aisle. Life's not fair, blah, blah. Sorry, it's not. It's not fair. 1, 2, Google especially is not fair, right? Some of these cases, some of your competition, and the more the keyword makes money, the more this will be true. Some of your competition has been doing this for 10, 20 years. They've been accruing signals to rank in Google for 10 or 20 years in some case. That means, for that reason alone, plus I have 5 other huge reasons why you need to do this, but for that reason alone, you need to start with casting the widest net to find the keywords, the searches you want to rank for in Google, where your competitors, for whatever reason, have no clue what they're doing. And they've done a terrible job at SEO, or they haven't done any SEO at all, and you can take advantage of that. And that is the only way you're going to succeed. Here's another major secret. SEO is not fair, and everyone writes their blog piece about SEO from 15 years ago like this, the world is your oyster. Anyone can rank for anything. Just go ahead and try and it'll work. And it doesn't work that way. It does not. That is a harmful lie. It does not work that way. If you try and jump in with a payday loan site, you're going to get your clock cleaned. You're going to lose your money, lose your shirt, and fail and go do something else. There are some niches which are verboten, to use the German. Schnell, Achtung. There's some niches. Those are all my German words that I know from watching World War II movies. There are some niches which are just, statistically speaking, are not going to work for your business when you're starting out. They're not the kind of niches you should be trying to start out on in many of these cases. And my hair is driving me crazy. I'm getting rid of this haircut. Those people who like the haircut, say you like it. If you like this kind of Bieberish, whatever, woolly wool man I'm doing here, I don't know what's going on. If those people who like the haircut, let me know if you like it. If you don't like it, don't say anything, because enough people have already put comments, I don't like your haircut. But it's okay. It's bugging me too. I don't care what anyone else says, but it's bothering me as well. It gets in my eyes. It's kind of annoying. So I'll probably change it. But anyway, next time you see me, I shall be differently coiffed. Is the vernacular. Today apparently is a day of vernacular. It's the Mexican Coca-Cola. It's it's making me go crazy here. Okay. So yeah, guys, all joking aside, there really are niches which one, you shouldn't enter, period. 2, are going to be so hard that you need to find the holes. You need to find the chinks in the armor. You need to pour yourself in like water where it's weak. You can't just go brute force and try to go for your main keywords right away. That's going to fail, right? I use the metaphor of like a stage manager. Google's like a stage manager, and they have a bunch of people asking questions, and they have a bunch of people who can answer those questions. And they're like, they grab them and stick them in front of the stage. Answer this question. What is the this for the user, or whatever. Like, answer the question, right? Respond to the query. And they're like, oh, blah, blah, blah. No, you suck. I'm going to try you again. And that's why you see this kind of trial and rank brain where there's dots and dashes, or there's upswings and downswings of Google. The main algorithm called rank brain is doing this, is like trying you out, but you don't give a good answer. You need to get slam dunks. Here's the second reason. This is the way Google works. You need to get slam dunks. You need to get answers for those questions that is the correct answer, a good answer. And that no one is given the right answer before. No one's wearing the right suit with the right costume, with the right parameters, with the right information, saying the right words in the right way to blend the metaphors between SEO and the stage manager metaphor. They're not doing these things, right? Steven says, I hope you address our situation. One keyword has more search than all related keywords combined. Then there's the question of whether we aim for the HO, the hoe. We aim for the hoe. Who's the hoe? What are we talking about? Aim for the hoe to how to rank versus another page, or who to rank, or what to rank. Okay, so ask your question again there. I'm not quite sure what you're asking, but thank you for asking. I'll gladly answer it. So guys, I could go on for an hour as to the reasons why you need to start with the keyword research process. It is the most efficient business that's going to win. And the most efficient business is the one that is scanning thousands of keywords, using AI to weaponize this for you, to scan tens of thousands of keywords to find where your competitors are weak. And then the second portion of this is another portion that people don't really consider very well. And that is, okay, so I'll answer this question at the end. I'll gladly answer that. And I'll answer it a bit as I go along, but if I don't answer it by the end, make sure you remind me. But I'll go through the questions and answer that at the end. Thanks very much again. It says Stevens at Zero Shoes, although it doesn't look like a Stevens in the picture, but I'll just call you Stevens. Okay. Here's the other problem, is that not only in 2025, it's not a fair race. You need to find where competitors are weak to filter your way in for two reasons. One, just because that's how SEO works. That's how you're going to maximize your chances of success. Two, that's how it's done professionally and how we've always done it professionally. I don't know why people got out of that habit. Three, because that's how Google is going to rank you, right? You need to get trust rank. You guys have heard of trust rank? It's real. You need to get the trust rank with Google on these wins. Like, answer this question. Oh, it worked. I'll try you again. Answer this question. They try you more and more and more. The more you have a good page saying the right words in the right way in the right places, with all the other factors combined. There's that. Not only that, but it is our job to make people money. That is the ultimate job of SEO. The ultimate job of SEO is not to rank number one. The ultimate job of SEO is to rank number one faster, sooner, cheaper, easier than everybody else in a risk-free way that we can iterate upon, that ultimately makes the person we're doing SEO for the maximal amount of money possible. That is the most important thing. Somewhere along the way, and I know exactly how it happened, agents, cough, cough, digital agencies, cough, started selling snake oil to their customers and ran out of keywords to try to rank them for, and started trying to rank for imaginary keywords like, how do you buy red apples in a red tie with the blue shoes? Like a crazy long string of words that's super easy to rank for because no one is trying to rank for it because it's crazy. No one types that in. They're like, look, see, we got your number one rankings on all these thousands of keywords that are totally imaginary and no one's typing in. And even if they are typing them in, they're so high up in the information funnel that they're not making anybody any money. Remember the sales search information funnel? At the very top, people are like, I'm thinking of changing my haircut. What should I do? And then in the middle, they're like, best haircuts for Victoria or whatever it is. And then at the very bottom, they're like, nearest barber who can do this kind of haircut. That's the sales funnel, search funnel. It's the same thing. And that's where you need to be. You need to be down at the bottom or closer to the bottom, where AI is not going to steal your lunch and answer in the AI overview now these days. But even ignoring the AI overview, this was still a bad way of doing SEO like 10 years ago because no one's making money on those queries. Yeah, you can bill your client. You could go bill your client. You could say, we spent the time, we made the pages, cough it up. You can do that, but you're doing your client and yourself ultimately a disservice. Whether this is an in-house job, local consulting, whatever it is, whether you're working for yourself or not, doesn't matter. This applies to, by the way, everything I'm going to say today applies to every kind of SEO, and I have done personally every single kind of SEO that exists. Try me. Say, have you done this? Yes, I'll say yes. Try me. Try to stump me with an SEO question. Try to challenge me with this kind of SEO or that kind of SEO with Google that I haven't done. I've done it all. I've had a very long career and tried to make money every which way you can do it. And I'm still doing it. After 30 years, I'm still here. 15 years, I've been doing SEO, nothing but SEO for money for the last 15 years. The first 15 years, I was doing other things as well, finishing my master's degree, doing my PhD, et cetera, stuff like that. So you need to rank number one, yes, but you need to do that faster, cheaper, in a rinse-free way that you can rinse, repeat in a risk-free way that is going to make ultimately money. You need to be lower in the sales funnel. And that makes it even more important to do the keyword research to find where the competitors are weak in the money-making queries. You need money pages. They call it money pages for a reason. You need the money-making queries. The less that you statistically speaking, the less that you tailor your operations toward that mindset of ranking the easiest keywords that make the most money and ramping up from there to make more money sooner, faster, better, easier in a risk-free way, that is the only way you're going to outcompete all of your competitors. That is the only way you're going to outcompete all of your competitors. And I want you to succeed. So that's why I'm telling you these things. And don't do those. There's a whole bunch of SEO bad habits I'm going to be mentioning today. I'm not blaming anybody, but the hair drives me crazy. I'm not blaming anybody, but now you're in the right place, right? You've got some bad news, but now you're in the right place. David says, However, Google changes their ranking algorithm frequently. Yes, they do to some degree. They do on a small level. On a macro level, no, it's the same quality content. But on the small level, it's not. But those are not abstractions to me. I'm going to tell you exactly. I'm going to tell you exactly what quality content is today. I'm going to show you how to make it very easily. Dimitri says, should e-commerce brands implement LLMs.txt? No. No. I mean, we're running this experiment now, and LLMs.txt, we're so early in this. This is 1993. We are so early in this push of a new internet that no one knows if that's going to be implemented. We don't even know if anyone is searching with Perplexity or ChatGPT, or it's just like 1% of people, like nerds like me, are using it. We do not know. We do not know. When it comes to making a purchase, when it comes to the keywords that matter, we do not know how much they have actually cut into Google's search share. So no, I wouldn't even bother. I wouldn't even bother doing LLMs.txt right now. I mean, you can, but it's not, we don't even know if there's any traffic to get there, right? We need to get serious. We need to get serious with the stats that we have. We need to get serious with Google. We need to get serious with our SEO if we want to succeed. And I want you to succeed. And I'm only going to teach you how to succeed. I'm not here to blow smoke up anyone's butt or to make it easy. I'm here to say, no, it is easy. This is exactly how it is easy. It is easy in these ways. Do it in these steps. And so you will make real money. You will actually succeed, is my point. He gives me a fire emoji. I respond to your fire emoji with a flexi arm emoji, the strong arm emoji. Okay. So thanks, guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for interacting. Thanks for asking questions. I appreciate it. Please keep firing them in there if you have any more questions. And Stevens, I'll answer that question at the end. Okay. So you're like, okay, Josh, I get it. That makes sense. You know, the most efficient business wins, of course. And it was kind of silly for me to think that SEO suggestions from 15 years ago are still valid, and that's what I should be, and that that SEO is equal, that life is fair, and that I deserve to rank for any keyword, and I should just try ranking for the most lucrative keywords like crypto right off the bat. I should just try to rank a page for crypto and start pulling in this cash right off the bat. That was maybe some bad advice you got from somewhere else. David says, I like your hairstyle. Don't worry about that. Oh, well, thank you, David. I give you a heart emoji. I appreciate that. It still drives me crazy. I think I'm still going to change it, but I appreciate the kudos. At my age, I'll take whatever compliments I can get at this point. So you're like, okay, Josh, I get it. Sure. So then how does it work? How does it work? Well, one of my excellent students here in the chat, David L, gave me this keyword, carbide burr. I have no idea what that even means. I'll put it in here. Boom. I'll move this over here, close the chat, and say boom. So that's looking for that. I'm also going to search it just so I can get some idea about what this is. It's a thing. Oh, I see. It's a tool. It's a tool of some kind. Tungsten, carbide, steel, burrs. Got it? Okay. So it's some kind of tool. Great. Now as an SEO with AI, I know everything I need to know about this. I don't need to know anything else. Okay. So I put that in there. You could put the most high level ideas in here. You can drill down to smaller ideas, right? And now it tells me generally in a keyword revenue ballpark, which is just a rough approximate. So here's an important point. The rough approximate keyword revenue ballpark is going to tell you generally an apples to apples comparison about how much money this keyword would make versus how much money this keyword would make. Should I rank for carbide burr, Josh, or should I rank for cutting burrs? The answer is probably both, all of them. You probably want to rank for all of that. But just for the sake of example, let's say you have limited time or whatever it is, you're like, which one pound for pound is a better keyword? Well, right now, sans keyword difficulty, ignoring keyword difficulty because we don't have it fully run yet, in terms of the money, the best keyword here is carbide burr. It makes much more money, right? People are bidding more on it and there's more searches. So if you take 30% of that for ranking number one and then 5% conversion rate, then that's how much, and then a 1-to-2 ratio on this or a 1-to-4 ratio on this, because Google had admitted that there's a 1-to-2 ratio, and if it's low, we do 1-to-2. If it's medium, we do 1-to-3. And if it's high, we do 1-to-4. So you times this by 4, times this by 30%, then times 5%, times whatever this was, times 4, and it equals to this per month. That's our revenue ballpark. This number could be as much as a factor of 10 off, right? You could easily make, or even 100. You could make 28 grand a month ranking for carbide burr, possibly. That'd be the high roof in my 30 years experience for a tool like that, an e-commerce query like that. So the keyword revenue ballpark is just, the idea of it is just to give you a sense of an apples to apples comparison between these keywords here and an apples to apples comparison between these niches here, right? Between, should I go into ranking carbide burr? Should I spend 10 hours a day trying to rank for this? Or should I spend 10 hours a day trying to rank for crypto or for divorce or for for branding or for digital marketing or kitchen remodeling? Which one should I go for, Josh? Like, if you're, some people get confused at this point, but don't get confused at this point, because here's the deal. The deal is that some people already know what they want to do for SEO. Some people are like, oh, Josh, I'm a divorce coach, so I want to do divorce coaching. So this top level view is not important to me. And I would say, and I would push back gently a little. I'd say, okay, I get what you're saying. You've already decided you want to rank for divorce coaching, even though I showed you how much money you can make in crypto. And hey, maybe you should consider moving to crypto. Like, seriously. I mean, it is a valid question, right? I know you guys, a lot of you guys, most of you are probably approaching this from a DIY perspective where, Josh, I'm already in roofing. That's what I do. I have no interest in crypto. I have no interest in divorce coaching. I have no interest in all that other stuff you talked about that apparently makes a lot more money according to your AI's market research. And that market research isn't necessarily wrong. Like I said, it could be off by a factor of 10 or 100 in some cases. But believe you me, you can make a shit ton of money in crypto. So that number is not that far off, okay? And I'm just talking about the keyword revenue ballpark rough number I use, just to give you a general idea how much money is behind the niche, so you can make an apples to apples decision of which niche you want to be in, generally speaking, or when you get past that, which keyword in the niche you want to try ranking for first, in what order. You probably want to rank for all of them, ultimately. Generally speaking, some keywords you might never try to rank for because they're too hard and they're too hot and they're too spicy and too much black hat and too much hacking and reverse engineering and all that kind of crap goes on. That does go on, right? That is possible. But going back to the niche decision, but I just want to just say, okay, I get you. I hear you. I know you're like already got your blinders on and you're thinking you got your eyes on the prize. And that's a good thing to get your eyes on the prize. But let's just take one little step back and say, and then this is how just generally people who are coming into SEO and want to make money online are thinking of it. They're like, listen, at the end of the day, what's my job? I'm an SEO, right? I do 5 hours of SEO a day to try to rank, to monetize in whatever way. Well, if it's going to be an SEO play, and at the end of the day, that's what it's going to be, is an SEO play, why not spend the 5 hours on a niche that has much more longevity, has much more money in it, has way more opportunities, and is going to make you more money at the end of the day? Like I'm not trying to dissuade anyone from roofing if you love roofing, if that's your telos, to use the Greek word, if that to use Aristotle's word, if that is your end goal, if that is your best end good life, your purpose to put shingles on a roof, fine, okay, sure. I'm not, forgive the look on my face I just made. For me, that'd be a horror. That's why I made that face. But for some people, it'd be great. Fine. Different strokes for different folks. Fine. Fair enough. But don't you want to be making more money? And at the end of the day, if you're doing 5 hours of SEO for either one, what's the effing difference? I say, if you're approaching this from a, how do I make money online? How do I supplement my side hustle? Or how do I get my main hustle making the most amount of money? Well, then shouldn't you actually just say, hold on a sec, and take 2 steps back and do the initial research to see which niches are even making more money these days? Why are you toiling away at 5 hours a day to make $500 a month at X when you could toil away doing the same work at 5 hours a day, exact same work, exact same difficulty, exact same time, and make 50 grand a month? Wouldn't that be than the 500 a month? Wouldn't that be better? Wouldn't you rather make 5 grand a day than 500 a day? Wouldn't that be more future proof? Isn't that the goal? Like if we're talking about how to ensure you succeed the best, it is my job to enable you and to coach you a little bit and to rethink your business decisions. And maybe you should actually consider getting out of roofing and maybe make a crypto site, or maybe do both at the same time. Work 10 hours a day for some months or some years until the crypto site takes off. And you're like, oh, there's my retirement. There we go. Think about it, right? Like, I'm not trying to dissuade anyone from, their thing they love to do. And I don't want to confuse people and make them second guess themselves necessarily, but I kind of do. I kind of do want you to second guess yourself when it comes to all the pre-decisions that could be bad pre-decisions you already made before you came to me. And I'm like, oh, wait a second. We're not even at the stage of looking at competitors' keywords on their page. And by the way, that's not the way to do it. That we will fail when it comes to SEO. We're back here at which niche should you be in anyway? How much money is there online? Billions of dollars. And how do you tap into the main veins of it? You need to do research ahead of time and shouldn't just pre-choose. I don't know. I'm a chiropractor, so that's all I care about. Really? Okay. Maybe there's other ways of making money, or at least it's not an invalid question, is my point. It's not an invalid question to ask. Okay, so that's why the system works the way it works. David asked a question. He says, I use a WordPress site. We also SEO. Do you recommend using a plugin? Okay, so I'll answer this after, David. I will answer this after when we get to the end. So everyone wait to the end. I'll ask this question, probably in the Ask Me Anything section. Okay, so with that rant, aside, once you've decided you can make apples to apples, that's what this screen here is for. It's to make apples to apples decisions, to be like, oh, should I be in crypto or should I be adding room additions in Roseville? Or whatever Crucial 4 is that important? It's like an affiliate kind of natural supplement site. Look how much money you can make in hair transplants. Look how much money you can make in natural supplements. But also look at comparatively how hard it is to rank for these things. Contemporarily, these are like average difficulty, right? We take the average of millions of different keywords, these keywords here at this level. There's millions of these keywords in our database, and we take an average across the board. So you know that when this says it's easier, now the average keyword difficulty, that you can take to the bank. This is within percentage points. This is more accurate than your standard political poll. This is far more accurate than 5 points up or down. This is accurate down to the percentage point. So when I tell you that the keywords under divorce coaching are 17% easier, what does that mean? 17% easier than any average SEO niche, than the average of SEO. And that's all SEO across the board. People trying to rank for roofing in Brandon, people trying to rank payday loans, the whole gamut between the easiest and the hardest. And we have them all in here. We have people doing millions of these individual keywords they're analyzing when it comes down to it. So this statistically has very far past the threshold of scientific validity. So you can take this difficulty to the bank. This number, this keyword revenue ballpark, I will fully admit could be as much as 100 off. A factor of 100 off to a factor of 10 off. But if you're ranking for the top 80 keywords in crypto, I guarantee you're probably going to be making about this money anyway, because I've been in niches like this. I see how much money you can make in crypto, or in being an actual divorce lawyer, or in which is just this. These are probably local keywords, or in hair transplant. I know, or in natural supplements. You can make a ton of money in beauty, and in health. You can also make a ton of money. And you guys know this. You know that it's I don't want to call it a sham. I want to call it all a sham, but you know that there's a lot of stuff that's bought and sold there, and people care about their looks and their health and all that. Male enhancement, for example, you can make a ton of money. This actually should be like 100,000 per month. The only problem here is that I use Google Ads as the monetary resource to determine the money, and you can't buy ads on herbal Viagra in Google Ads. I don't know even how they got these male enhancement ones across. But anyway, okay, so let's ignore that. Let's go. Okay, Josh, I get it. Let's go look at this keyword that someone suggested. But say, okay, I'll take it on point. I'll take that under advisement, Josh. Thank you for that life information. That could very well help me out tremendously. Thanks very much. But now let's look at the niche that I've decided to look to. So that's when you drill down to a specific kind of niche, a specific kind of idea. And you're like, okay, fine. Now these are the niches in this, these are the keywords, the searches in this particular niche. And ultimately you want to sort it by final return on investment is ultimately how you want to sort it. Because what final return on investment does is the ultimate is the ultimate uptick of what I'm talking about here. The end goal of what I'm talking about here is that you're trying to rank for the most lucrative keywords that make the most money, times the easiness. This is what we're doing here, right? It's like we're going, let me draw this for you. It's like we have the money here, but we're also doing that times how easy the keyword is equals the one you want to go for. It's money times ease is what you want to start with, because we want to make as much money as we can as soon as possible. And we want to rank for these kinds of keywords that even if I'm just pulling in $49 a month for this kind of keyword, it's much better than trying to rank for these keywords here that, you thought would make money, but apparently don't make any at all, right? It's much better to rank for these keywords that make money than these keywords that do not. Because if all you've done is build a site of 100 of these keywords that don't make any money, statistically speaking, the chances of your failure skyrocket. Exponentially speaking, the more you try to rank for keywords that don't make money, your chances of failure skyrocket, because you need to have X amount of money coming in to support Y costs over Z time. That's the formula. That's the actual formula of SEO. It's not rank number one at all costs. It's we need to make X amount of money that is more than Y costs over Z time is what you need to do. So that's why you need to make sure you're ranking not only for the final return on investment, that's Z, the final return on investment in that equation. It needs to be the keywords that make the amount of money, first best amount of money, but also the easiest to rank you for. And that's the final return on investment you want to go by. And that's how we sort this table ultimately is by the final return on investment. And that is how you need to build up your SEO. Okay, so is that making sense to everybody? If you have any questions about that or why that's important, this is the most important thing I'm going to tell you today. Because I guarantee to you, in searching for the niches and the searches that you should be ranking for, that is where like 80% of SEO projects go wrong, is in choosing the wrong keywords and wrong searches to begin with. I've made the mistake myself. Do not make that mistake. Okay, I've just saved 80% of you, 80% of your grief, 80% of the time by saying you got to do this research thing. If you ignore everything else I say today, you got to do that research thing, because it is statistically the single move that is going to exponentially increase your chances of success over everybody else, is that you did that research better than they have. In fact, in SEO, you did that research. Most people don't even do that research anymore because we've gotten lazy. And being lazy is never a good way to run a business. It's a way to fail. Okay, do you guys have any questions about that? Let me check the YouTube. A few people watching, no questions yet. You guys make sure you ask any questions you want on the right-hand side there. Let me refresh my YouTube page because sometimes it doesn't show me the latest questions. AG says, I just wanted to say I like the way you styled your hair today. I've never seen it like that before. Wow. Okay. I got people saying they like the hair the way it is. I don't know. I'm confused now. I was going to change it. I don't know what to do. All right. So, like this is the important thing to discuss. But, we have to nurse Josh's flimsy little ego here, which I fully admit. But, weigh in if you have an idea about my hair. Do you like the hair? Do you want to change the hair? Let me know. Send me pictures of the, actually don't send me any pictures. Because I'm gonna get pictures of penises is what I'm gonna get if I say that. But okay, thank you for weighing in. Okay, we'll watch here for the live debate of what hairstyle should Josh have as we go on. Okay, so and there's no questions here in the Zoom, so great. Okay, so let me go back here to the Zoom about this particular topic. There are questions that I will answer them. I see a chat. Steven says, you think people have opinions about your hair? Well, ... smiley face, wink face. Yes, well, they tell me they do. I get a lot of unsolicited advice for hairstyles from people, usually negative, is which I thought, I was like, I don't like this hair. Plus, it's annoying. It doesn't stay in the right spot. I'm kind of a control freak, so I like to have it all gelled down in the right spot. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do now. Now I don't know. Okay. But there's much more important things for me to talk about right now, which is the SEO. So it's really important. We got to take this first step here, guys. You got to find the ranking opportunities where the competitors are weak for whatever reason, out of the 25 years of post-apocalyptic SEO warfare, and the traffic is high and they're ready to buy. It's your job to make money, more money sooner, faster, better. And you need to make it easier and you need to make it cheaper. And that's how you win, right? That's how you win. Now you might be like, okay, Josh, I get it. That makes sense. Of course, the most efficient business wins. Okay, but what about these keywords here? How do I build them up? In what order do I build them up? And how many do I need to build? Great questions. So I'll give you two answers. First answer, if your site already indexes pages in 24 hours, you go into Search Console and you fetch it, or you submit a new sitemap and you fetch it, and your page is indexed within 24 hours, and they rank somewhere on this exact topic, on whatever burrs are, on this topic alone, if it ranks within pages on this topic, rank on any of these keywords, rank anywhere in Google, page 5 to 8 to 1, they rank anywhere in Google within 24 hours, then I say your site's already considered an authority for whatever reason on this topic, because you've gotten enough tool bleed over to burrs, or grinder bits you've got bleed over to burr, fine. And you can just sort by final return on investment, and you can go to town, son. You can just go to the top and get some. You can just start ranking from the top, because those are, in terms of the money, the best keywords, or in terms of the easiness, the best keywords. Even though this one here is 67% harder than SEO is on average, it'll be very tough. Means very tough. It'll be very tough to get #1 rankings for this, but it's doable theoretically for your site if you are already ranking for other burr related queries and the index you within 24 hours. RankBrain is the major ranking algorithm. There's a holy trinity of rankings. RankBrain is the major ranking algorithm. Google it if you don't believe me. It's real. RankBrain, one word. And it decides whether to crawl you, index you, and rank you higher. Because they index you less and they crawl you less if you don't look like you're a good site, if you don't have enough positive signals accrued. The other two I'll get to in a bit, of what the holy trinity of AI agents that Google has to rank you. Because it's all AI. Everything is AI. Google uses AI to rank pages. We use AI to analyze and build pages. There's no way we could do it without AI. There's no way to succeed these days without AI. So you're in the right place. Good news. You're in the right place. You're listening to the right guy. You're in the right place. I have the right knowledge. I have the proof. I could prove it to you. I lost my train of thought. I'll have another sip of Mexican Coca-Cola here. Bueno. Okay. So, and how many pages do I need to make? Well, you've already made enough because you've got the trust. Otherwise, you wouldn't index within 24 hours. Okay, but what if I don't, right? What if you're like, okay, Josh, for these kinds of queries on burrs or grinder bits, I try to fetch a page and it's nowhere in Google for the next week. And then finally it shows up, if at all. Should I just start building on the very tough ones? No, you're not ready to answer that question. Google's not going to try you, and they're not going to try you well, and they're not going to position you for success on that, right? You need to position yourself for success, and that is the way Google's both how to make the most money at SEO and guarantee you're going to win, and the way Google's algorithm works. Those two things together. You need to go for easier keywords in that case. In that case, you come here and you click keyword difficulty and you sort it by the easiest keywords. These are the keywords, when you take a look at them, like AccuBurn burnisher or 732 carbide burr, or ball burrs. These are the keywords where no one knows what they're doing. Look at this. The keywords are in the page 0, not 100%, 0. These people have no idea how to SEO for this keyword. For whatever reason, ball burrs, they don't have that keyword in the right spot. Their site is not focused on it enough. This should be around 40%, and they're like down around 10%. And their page is not focused on it enough as just a general AI analysis. And I have a very complex AI analyzing this to find out how much their page or site is focused on these things. And I noticed here that the traffic and the organic is not loading. I'm going to actually, give me a second here. Sorry, wait 1 second. The last few times I've done this, I've noticed it's not working. Let's go to this. The API is not responding. So we get all of our data from other APIs. All of our data comes from third-party APIs. To give us this data in keyword discovery, keyword difficulty, competitor drill down. Please check why. It's been like this for weeks. Okay, which I wouldn't know. No one's complained about it, but people might not notice. So I've noticed the last few weeks, hey, why is this data not here? It doesn't make that big of a difference, to tell you the truth. You might be like, oh no, it's the end of the world. It's actually not. Most of the ranking factors are from here to here. These ranking factors are not that important, and brand awareness is important, and it gets added, right? See, Amazon, my AI noticed. Look how tough this brand is comparatively. This is the most powerful page here. Look, it's 425% more powerful on average than all these other competitors' pages here. The easiest one to knock off, 68%, is pretty easy. Yeah, 68%. This one who's here because of query deserves diversity. That's the third ranking factor in the holy trinity of ranking factors. There's rank brain, spam brain, and the third is snippet brain. Snippet brain is what decides is going to be in the snippet. And a search like this, or bad example, foobar. And a search like this, snippet brain is what decides goes here. Snippet brain decides what goes here, and it does rearrange some of these, moving some up and some down. That's what snippet brain does. Spam brain operates much differently, which I'll get to when we get to article building. We have a fix for spam brain. You can Google it. I'm not making this up. These are actual things from Google. Rank brain, spam brain, snippet brain. The holy trinity of ranking, the three main AI agent umbrellas that have many, many little AIs working for them in conjunction. Okay, so this is fantastic, right? This is what you do. So if you're new to this niche, or as far as Google is concerned, and how do you know you're new to the niche? You haven't built up enough trust yet with Google, or weight, or site weight, W-E-I-G-H-T, which you can just think of like site weight, W-A-I-T, site weight. You got to wait until your site's built up to have the trust with this topic. You're like, well, I can't even get pages all this indexed within 24 hours, Josh. And I would say, okay, well then, excuse me, you don't have enough trust with Google. They're not going to try ranking you for this. Not seriously, not on page 1, not within spot 1 to 5 where the actual traffic is. And so they're setting you up for failure. They're not even going to let traffic go to your page and confirm for them that they like it, right? Because they've got better people to answer the question. Think about it from Google's perspective. Why would they take the risk on you? Why? I know your mom told you you're wonderful, and I'm telling you you're wonderful too, but I told you life's not fair. Google doesn't work that way. Why is Google going to take the risk on you and your page, which isn't talking about the thing very much, isn't using the expert words, not speaking about it with experience, not speaking about it from a place of authority. Therefore, you don't get the trust. You recognize the EAT acronym, E-E-A-T, experience, expertise, authority, and trust. Those are on-page factors. The rest of SEO thinks they're off-page factors. They're dead wrong. They are on-page factors. I know this for a fact. I've reverse engineered it. I've tested it. They are on-page factors. You need to speak like an expert. Why are they going to rank someone who just made a cheap little article on this versus someone who has 30 years experience and is speaking like it and from that place? Why are they going to choose you to answer the question over a 30-year expert? Sorry, that's the way that it works. But I got good news. The AI is an expert in almost everything, pretty much. So you can get the 30 years expertise into your articles easily, which is a click of a button. And you don't have to write it anymore. And quite frankly, you shouldn't write it because you're not a 30-year expert, probably in these things. And even if you are, quite frankly, it doesn't mean you're talking like an expert, right? Experts talk in a certain way. It doesn't mean you're using the vernacular. That's a little bit more tricky than just, oh yeah, Josh, I've been doing this forever. But you might have a special way you like to talk about it and teach it, like I do, right? Google would not recognize me as a 30-year expert in the way I talk about SEO necessarily, because I don't talk about it like everybody else, because everybody else has no idea what they're talking about. They're saying the wrong things. So I have to be kind of a maverick off to the side saying weird stuff because they're all wrong. They're all wrong. And that's because Google wants them to be wrong, because Google wants SEO to die and wants us all have to buy AdWords. That last $1 to $2 billion of SEO profit, they want that money too. And they want to suck that in to their AdWords coffers. So if you do not have enough weight or trust yet, you should sort, instead of going by final return on investment, which could put some very tough keywords there for you, you should start with these pages, and you start building from the top and keep going down. And especially if you find ones that make money, you're like, great, now I'm gonna start making more money along the way. Instead of just ranking for stuff that's very easy, that has no money, these would probably be all very easy to rank for. Not necessarily though. You could start another difficulty and find out. But instead of trying to rank for these ones that have no money, what you do is you try to rank for the ones here that are the easiest to rank for. When you come across one that has money, you sing to the heavens, hallelujah. You're like, great, I'm ranking for the easiest keywords. I'm building up my site weight, and I'm gonna make money at the same time. Although not as much as, say, the other ones for final ROI, but you're working up to that. See, here's an $80 one that's nestled in there. Here's another gem keyword, a $26 one, a $13 one, a $50 one. These are all great. These are all great. A $33 one. These are going to start to make some money. This could be as much as 10 off. This could be $300 a month. This could be $500 a month for you. You got to start building these up from the easiest and so on. And then you're like, okay, Josh, but how do I know how many I need to build? Well, the answer is until you're ranking really highly is really the answer, but I can give you a more specific answer if you want. A more specific answer is this. What you do is you go, okay, the general idea is carbide burr, right? That's the general idea. Okay, so let's do a search for carbide burr. Actually, let's go here to, let's do a search for carbide burr. Let me use my test keyword for this, carbide burr in Tuvalu, to strip out any of the geolocations. And who actually, in terms of semantics, ranks really well for this? Empire Abrasives. Okay, they're ranking for carbide burrs, Kingspur, Walter Surface, Benchmark, Ace Hardware. Gotcha. Okay, so let's take this guy, Empire Abrasives, and let's do carbide burr, not barbide, barbide burrs. Josh is losing his mind. Carbide burrs, but let's use the site colon operator. You guys can see that, right? We use the site colon operator and search how much do you actually talk about carbide burrs here? And how many pages do you have dedicated to this? And then what we do is we scroll down, and my Google Infinity Chrome extension adds this in here. We go down, 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 down. We let it load as many pages as it wants. Come on, keep on loading. Come on, let's go. This will give us a much more accurate number. Here we go. Oh, no, there we go. Okay, so now we've got this many, and if we're like, how many do we have? Okay, then I can do this. I can use the Google Search Extractor, and we got down to 258. So they have 258 pages that mention carbide burrs. You can see them here. Here's the URLs, carbide burr. That's how many pages they got. This is from Chris Ainsworth. It's not a bad little tool, this SERP extractor. It's not that bad. And this was Google G Infinity from Google Chrome extension is what I have to do this for me, if in case you want to download those. So there's your answer, right? That's the neighborhood. You need in the neighborhood of, well, it looks like you're going to need in the neighborhood of around 260 pages, was it? 258? That's about how many you're going to need to be on par with the number one site for this. And that's how you could find that easily and free very quickly. So now, do you actually need 260 pages? No, you're not going to actually need 260 pages. Pages that are partially on carbide burrs, but also on tools on like sub-related topics are going to be worth like 0.5 pages, 0.4 pages, if that makes any sense. So if you had 10 of those, that's like adding 5 pages that say carbide burrs. 1, 2, our pages pound for pound are much better on pages. Our on page is way better than everybody else. And we can build it way faster than everybody else. So I don't know how powerful each page is when it comes to carbide burrs for them. If I had to guess, they're probably like 0.6, 0.7 is good, but pound for pound, if our on page compared to their on page and how much it is about the topic it's trying to be about, in this case, carbide burrs, whatever that is, their pages are not as good. Ours way more. So probably even as much as twice more. So you probably need around 130 to 200 pages to arguably have the site weight and the trust for Google to start trusting you, right? Because ultimately, it doesn't matter how many people reference you out there and talk about you, ye olde backlinks, that doesn't really matter. It's always been a tertiary signal, and it's never been a direct signal of quality. Now Google has AI analyzing the pages in real time and deciding, is this going to be a good answer to the question? And then if it is, then it grabs you from behind the stage and shoves you out in front of the crowd and says, answer their question. Dance, monkey. And your page goes, you know, it answers the question, right? And either people like it, they clap in this metaphor, or they click and they convert and they move around, or they go back to Google and it's like, boo, that's the end of your career on stage. Google, that stage manager is not going to risk trying you again for double the time. Like months later, they might try you again. They're going to try you a couple times to make sure. They're going to be like, never mind, this guy sucks compared to everybody else. They ain't got the 30 years experience. They ain't got the juice. They don't have a helpful page. Remember the helpful content update? That's real. We have it automatically in here for you. You don't have to worry about it. You do have to worry about it that it's real and you need to worry about it. But that's as much as you need to worry about it. We got you covered. We have it, right? David says, would you recommend pages and being created as pages or post blogs? That's a great question, David. I'd love to answer that. I'm going to answer that in the Ask Me Anything at the end. So stay to the end, guys. I'll answer that for you. That's also why I'll give out all the free gifts as well. I give it out to you guys first, then I'll open it up to everybody else. So people on YouTube, keep listening. The free gifts are coming for you as well. I just give the Zoom people a chance at it first before I give it to you guys. And if you're like, I want an SEO Ask Me Anything. I want access to the free gifts first. I want to get access to be in the draw for your SEO Power Hour. I'd say, sure, great. Go and join. Go to SEOCopilotai.com. Go to under resources and click on the free training, and you'll get it in the Zoom, and you will be entered as well when you reply yes, and you can get entered as well when you join the Zoom here. Okay, so yeah, so you probably don't need. So the good news is you probably don't need to build as many pages as they have, but that's just a rough idea of how many you need to make. And now you're like, okay, Josh, you might need to make all of them, right? They could be actually very good at what they do. They might actually have an SEO who knows what they're doing, and or have a 30-year experience talking about it, and they know what they're doing. They are the de facto thing. And so it might be very hard to break them out of their top spot. And so you're going to need to aggressively compete, and you might need 250 pages. Hell, you might need more pages than they have. You might need 300 pages, 400 pages on these topics. So then you're like, okay, Josh, well then that leads me to 2 more questions. How many pages do I build a month? Because we all know there's a content velocity penalty, right? Right. We all know this, right? He winked, indicating sarcasm. And 2, What was number two? Two is something important that I'll think of later. But I'll answer number one. No, there is no content velocity penalty. There's no such thing. This is called bad science. This is called, to use the Latins, post hoc ergo propter hoc, or after this, therefore, because this. Or cause correlation fallacy. Just because something's correlated doesn't mean it's causal. Just because someone wearing a red shirt, 3 people wearing a red shirt walk through the door, does not necessarily mean alone that the next person to walk through the door will also be wearing a red shirt. Doesn't mean they will, doesn't mean they won't either, by the way. Correlation, it's equally a fallacy to go the other way and be like, I feel warmth at my back. My friend told me they're building a campfire. I smell campfire smoke and I see sparks, embers flying by me, but that's all correlation. That's not causation. So there's 100% for sure no campfire behind me. That would be equally fallacious as well. Sorry, it's my PhD in philosophy. I cannot help but say those things. It's a fallacy either way, right? At the end of the day, you count correlations, you build up a theory, and you test it. That's how science works, and it works on correlations and nothing but correlations. But anyway, believing in causation like a religion, quite frankly, like some kind of faith, which is something we can never be certain of. All we have is correlations at the end of the day. But anyway, so it's cause correlation fallacy. Some guy went out on his website of like 14 pages, produced 1,000 pages this is the latest experiment. People have done tons of experiments like this to say content velocity is a penalty. They're completely wrong. And this is why, as the example of this particular experiment, they had a 14-page site. They made 1,000 low quality pages in ChatGPT in this case. They also wanted to prove that AI content was a problem. And then they put those in this sitemap and waited. And Google slowly crawled a page here, a page there, and within a couple months he got a penalty, or he got strongly demoted, right? And then he infers from this, therefore there's a content velocity penalty because I added 1,000 pages to the page to the site at one time, and therefore AI content is bad. Do you see how bad science that is? Please tell me you see how bad science that is. Months have passed between point A and point B. Any fucking thing could have happened in between there. He did not isolate his variables. He didn't do this in a lab, so to speak. This is not science. This is a mockery of science. This is not science. This pisses me off. This really does, on every level of my being, piss me off. As an SEO, as a scientist, as a philosopher, as a human being, this angers me tremendously. For that reason alone, it's invalid. Ignore that study. But not only that, but he didn't add 1,000 pages at once, and Google did not crawl 1,000 pages at once. That's not how Google works, right? You need to have the pages fetched. He didn't even fetch it. He just put it in a sitemap and waited for Google to find it. So Google found it, and in their normal crawl rate of like 5 pages a week, maybe, they crawled it slowly, and I'm telling you, 1,000 weeks didn't pass. It was a very short amount of time. They didn't even crawl all those pages, right? So there's no such thing. That's not how Google works. There's no such thing as press a button and you like overload Google with too many pages and it chokes on them. That's not how it fucking works. Excuse my F-bombs, but this pisses me off. When Canadians get angry, they pull the jersey over your head and they start feeding you fucking uppercuts. Another reason why he can't support any of those content velocity is bad, or AI content is bad, because if you go onto ChatGPT and you get it to generate the lowest possible quality articles and just throw them up on a site, yes, you're going to have too many low quality articles, and eventually Google is going to hit you. But it's a quality content demotion, or in the case, a lack thereof helpful, a lack of quality content demotion. It has nothing to do with the velocity at which they crawl the pages. There are tons of magazines and tons of blogs and tons of agencies which index 1 million pages a month. 1 million. I've seen these with my own eyes. Everybody knows in the SEO industry these exist. Do they have a penalty? No, they rank great. Why? Because they have bigger sites, and bigger sites rank better. And I also have a leak from Google. If that logic wasn't enough for you to understand how that works, which it is, that is enough for you to understand how that works. 2, I know this for a fact because I have a leak from Google proving it. I have a leak. I have all the algorithms leaked to me from Google, not just to me, but to the world. Google accidentally put all of their ranking factors from their GitHub repo, their GitHub repository that was supposed to be private. They made it public for 2 days, and we downloaded it. It's 7,414 pages of leaks of the ranking factors, all of them, and they're right there in black and white. And content velocity is a boosting factor. The faster you add quality content, the more Google trusts you because you're saving them money, right? The more behind the stage, you're like, I got an answer to that. I got an answer to that too. I got an answer to everything. And then they try you and it's high quality. They're like, shit, this is a useful answerer for our questions. Put them in. One of the managers is there. I like the color of their jib. Put them on the front stage more often. Go lead with that act. Sorry, I got this parody of this metaphor going on in my head here. So I like the color of their jib. See, so that's what you want. Adding more content faster is a boosting factor. It improves your rankings to add better content more faster. So you're like, so that answers the question both of originally how much content you need to make. That also answers the question of how fast you should put it on the site. The answer is as fast as you can fucking put it there. That's the answer. Do you want to take a year to build up your pages before you can compete? Can you afford? Remember, it's X money in, X costs versus Y money in equals Z time. You need to manage your money as you're ramping up to get ranking, to get into the information flow or the money flow of where the money flows through this particular niche. Choosing the best niche gave you the widest and best money flow, 1. 2, building as fast as possible on the best keywords that tap in to that money flow as fast as possible is going to give you the X dollars to cover your Y costs over Z time faster than everybody else, more efficiently than everybody else. And that is the name of the game. That is the way that it works. That's what you need to do. If you don't do that, you're going to fail. I want you to succeed. So you got to listen to what I'm saying here, guys. You got to do it this way. I'm not just doing it this way because I have an AI tool. That you got it backwards. Because it works this way, I was forced, very reluctantly, to have to make an AI tool. But it's good that we did because it saves us a ton of time and money, but it was a pain in the ass to make and cost me money. Oop, I almost knocked over the Mexican Coca-Cola. He's getting jittery, too much Coca-Cola. That's a great question, Dimitri. Dimitri asks, how to know the content is better quality than the others? I will tell you exactly how, Dimitri. I will make the subjective high quality content. You need to make helpful content and high quality content. That's my John Mueller impression. From a subjective bullshit propaganda crap from a Google employee who's trying to rip people off, I will take it from that and I will... don't sugarcoat it, Josh. Tell us how you actually think about everything. And I will take it from that. I'll move it to something completely objective. I will gladly do that when we get to the article build. Okay, so that answers the questions, guys. That answers the questions. Let me check the YouTubes to see if there's any questions here. Any questions on the tube views about this stuff? Let me see. The Father's Corner says, hello, I love the info you give with a strong arm. Father's Corner, I love you, and I'm happy to give you the answers. If you guys have any more questions, please let me know. Okay, it is my pleasure to give the information, because as you can tell, I'm one of these guys who has trouble keeping silent, so I'm going to say it anyway. Whether I should say it, whether I should bite my tongue, I'm one of those guys who are like, the lead in the water is poisoning people. I can't keep silent. No, and I would lose my job and say things. So... that's, sorry, just the guy I am. I can't, it's my autism. It's like autistic people have a high predilection for justice because it contradicts, like robots. We can't handle it. We start smoking. We're like, Okay. All right. So guys, so good news, folks. This covers then the first of the three portions here. You need to look for these keywords. You need to find the most lucrative keywords. You need to build them up in a certain way. You need to go faster and better and cheaper and more efficient than everybody else to get X, your money in sooner to cover Y, your costs. In the Z, the least amount of time. Z for you Americans. Is Z for Americans? Yeah. And Z for, I think, British. I think it's Z in British and Canadian and Australian. I believe. I've become Americanized. I can't remember anymore. Okay. I'm losing my Canadian accent. I say sorry instead of sorry, but that's okay. I still say Toronto. Toronto. I don't say Toronto. That's how you can tell a Canadian right away if they say Toronto or they say Toronto. Okay. So that's number one. Okay, so you're like, fine. I will build these all up. It's like, okay, so let's look at these ones here. Let's see which some good ones are going to be. Let's go to here to keyword difficulty. Let's go to the easiest. Let's say, let's build this one. 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 And we say find boosting keywords. That's how we start a keyword spy report. The next thing we want to do here is build a keyword spy report. That's step number 2 to find the boosting keywords, right? That you have to put in certain places. That's OnPage proper. That's tactical OnPage, which most people think of OnPage, right? I say find the boosting keywords. Now, here's a pro tip. I'm going to segregate them to Tuvalu, the small island nation of Tuvalu. And I'm going to say the location is Tuvalu. To strip out all the geolocation, right? I want to strip out all the geolocation. And then I'm going to do it in English and say continue. And so Google is just going to give me kind of like, well, who ranks best for on-page and links on these keywords, and check that competition to see what are the words they're using, who has the most experience, what are they talking about. And so those reports are running now. So that was the find boosting stage. I could also run it here. I could have stuck a keyword in here, and I will. It was carbide burr. I'll do this here. Now, I didn't ask, but do you sell this in a specific area? I could have looked for a specific area. It doesn't look like you do. So I'll use Tuvalu as well here. Although this is very tough. This is not one we should go for right away. After we get all of our easy ones ranking, now we can come back around and try to rank for carbide burr, and we're ready for that job interview. Now we have our act together, and now they can grab us from behind the stage, put us in front, and we have a good answer for this that users are going to trust and that Google's going to trust. We say start keywords by report. And that's going to take us to reports. And here you can see all the reports running here. See the ones that I have run. You see the articles that I've run for them, the numbers. Ones in the red, numbers in the red need to be addressed. So it gives you a snapshot view here of how well the pages are doing for their own page after the AI articles, or any articles generated, whether the AI wrote it or not. Excuse me. And so we're running these reports here. That's basically it. In terms of the process, that's all you need to do. Now, after you run the report, you can move right over to the article builder and start generating articles. And you might be like, what? What do you mean, Josh? I've freed you from the unenviable task, and quite frankly, the futile task of trying to go to the competitors and, like it's still 2005, eyeball your competitors up, click on each of the top 10, and notice what keywords they're mentioning, where they're mentioning it, and from 40,000 feet away, and then decide those are the important keywords, which you have no idea which ones are. It's not just semantic keywords. There's helpful keywords. There's experience keywords. Those are the words that someone with expertise would say. There's authoritative keywords. There's main sub-entities you need to mention. There are thousands of keywords per page. There are thousands of keywords per page. You cannot eyeball this. You cannot eyeball this. It's just not, stop being arrogant. It's just not humanly possible. But here's the good news. Only a computer could do this. So I've got a computer to do this, right? I've made my AI do this, right? It looks through tens of thousands of lines of code to find the words and what they need to be said and in what frequency and where. And not only this, to find the HTML you need to use. HTML is also a ranking factor. And it finds the HTML you need to use, in what frequency, in what way, in what nested embedding, making what kind of visual design, and how much you need to do that, and the words, and put those together, and generates the article for you. Only an AI could do this. And so you don't need to worry about any of this. Once the reports are done, all you do is click generate article, and you're off to the races, and you let it do it, and the AI does a 9 out of 10 job for 9 out of 10 pages in a good way. And you just need to do the last 10% of work. You need to go in, check it out as a human, make sure all the scores are in the green. And that's what we're going to do now, is show you how to get the scores in the green and move on. However, just to show you all the important stuff that we get I'll do that here under reports. In case you ever need to check this out for whatever reason. Here we have carbide burr bunnings, and I'm just going to run this article now. so that we have something to work on in a couple seconds here. But if you want to make sure it worked, if you want to just as a human quickly check it to make sure everything worked out, you click here on report. And here we have a bunch of AI models that we've built for you that are important for rankings. We have the entities for RankBrain, which are single words. We have the phrases that are going to be important, and we have how important they're going to be to the top 10. So that is good information, but do you need to memorize this? Do you need to look at this? No, not really. The AI is going to use all this. We also have very important, we have the query intent. That's weird. Oh, look at that. It's misspelled. How did this possibly get misspelled? That wasn't misspelled before. Oh my God. My kingdom for programmers. My kingdom for a horse. My kingdom for programmers that know what they're doing. If anyone's a programmer and they want to work with me. Also, how did this possibly get misspelled? Who touched this? This did not need to change. Anything on, I shouldn't be so angry. I just won't be angry. I'll just say, oh, look, this got misspelled. Okay, fine. We have, it's not the ORI intent, we have the query intent. And that's what you, as when you notice when I click this to generate an article, when I generated an article for this, it said, which topic do you want to use? This is the topic you should be using. Google has something called query interpretation. It's not, we call it query intent, but Google calls it query interpretation. And when people type in carbide burr Bunnings, what they really want is their uses and specifications, and they want a comparison of this and their applications. That is how you make a high quality page for this. That is one of the subjective things made subjective. Sorry, that's one of the subjective things made objective, sorry. And like I said, also it goes through 1,000 top pages to do this, not just the top 10, because it's the shard collection that comes back, which is a fancy way of saying the different pieces from different databases of documents that come back to answer this question. You have to analyze them all and see what vectors to spot number one. Same with this. This is how the page needs to look. It needs to have these kinds of reviews with these kinds of ratings and a contact form. It needs to have this all rights reserved for your company. It needs to have its social media here, because this is what your competitors have. Not the ones in top 10 necessarily, but that's what vectors to spot number one from 1,000 different HTML pages that you could never, ever have time to look at. And so do you need to look at any of this? No, just recognize that we're doing more work here than any other tool does that you need to do. I didn't increase the difficulty of this tool and the complexity of the tool and the difficulty maintaining the tool on a whim. I didn't do this just for shits and giggles because I like to make my life a living hell. That's not why I did it. I put it in there, as you can imagine, because it needs to be in there, because those things are important. So that's why they're there. So I just want to point out that they're there. Do you need to worry about that really? No, 99% of the time my AI gets that correctly. It's very good at analyzing. It's very good at taking my 30 years of SEO experience and analyzing things and looking at it correctly and wrapping that all up from the base level of searching, finding the right searches, to doing the right keyword research, to then building the right article. It's like a pyramid. It builds it up from the bottom, a wide base to the top. And so let's move. So you don't really need to worry about any of that. So let's move right on to the article building. We can see that it's still writing this particular article. But while it's building this article for us, let's go here and look at this particular article. Oh, there's nothing here for divorce papers. Well, here's a pro tip of what you can do. We also have this in page audits. This is how page audit works. But I can go here to divorce papers. I can do a general search. I can go here to divorce papers. Yeah, I'm a real human. F off. Go to divorce papers here. Do a search. Oh yeah, it's still putting in the CA stuff. Fiji, that's weird. UK, weird. Okay, here's the first one. I could take this one here. I could take this URL. I can go in here and I can actually import it and see how well it's doing. See how good the OnPage is? So I want to get rid of this stuff from the top here. And I want to get rid of this stuff at the bottom. Oh my God, look at all these links. Get rid of this. Here we go. Okay, so now what we want to do, and sometimes the HTML screws it up, but see, it's slightly over optimized. It's not helpful enough. It's either AI content or it's business basic prosaic content, and it's spammy. So it's interesting how weak this page is. Let me run these. And this is not that surprising. There's many niches which are actually pretty easy to rank for because your competitors don't know how to do SEO. They don't have this tool yet. So now's the time to use this tool and to get ahead of them. If ever. I mean, my tool is always going to be a niche tool because I'm kind of a niche guy. Okay, so they're super spammy in the H1 and the body. Their URL is a bit spammy. It says the syntax is good, however, the URL is quite long and could be more concise. Yeah, so it's a spammy URL. Look at all these extra words they're putting in here that they don't need to. The title is great. There's 0% spam there. Meta description is good. But the H1 here, it does so by repeating a close variation of the EMQ, which is often too hot for SEO purposes. And while it conveys a clear intent regarding the process of divorce papers, it lacks additional context or supporting information that would enhance the usefulness of the title. Like, what are you going to expect to find here? Is it a how-to? Is it a top 10 tips? What is it? It doesn't say that there. Overall, it does not fully serve the likely query intent. And the body spam score contains divorce papers. The repetition in the heading and the body may come off as keyword stuffing. It doesn't like the fact that it's repeated here and repeated here right away. It'll look for what looks like an SEO stuffed it in there with arbitrary stuff. And it's more spammy than your competitors. 80% is yours, 58% is what the competitors are. It's more spammy. So I can see why it's ranking number 1. It has a very strong semantic score, a little too strong. And this predictability length here is not too bad. But it's got some spammy problems. So anyway, that's not the point. You can run this and you're like, okay, great. I see how this works. And then you can send this to the competitor, send this to your clients and be like, hey, go look, here's my audit of your page. Pay me $44. You can move on and do that. But however, before we go to the other, to show you how to make the scores in the green, let me introduce what these SEO scores mean. I mean, they're kind of obvious. The semantic score is the most important one. You need to be in this range. And it's all the semantics. It's all the entities you want to say here that are, at the end of the day, important. They have a semantic weight. It's like keyword density, really, except it's much more complicated. It's not just about divorce papers and divorce papers when trying to rank for divorce papers. It's about all these words, including the stop words. The stop words are counted as well. Stop words are counted in a number of Google's AIs because they need the stop words to change the meaning of the phrase, right? The search, how do I file divorce papers, and lawyer to help me file divorce papers are completely different, right? The words matter, including the stop words. Pick up medicine pharmacy and pick up medicine pharmacy for someone else are completely different intentions. And the word for there, the stop word, is important. This is not me saying this is Google. So Google has fully admitted like 12, 15 years ago, 12, 10, 11 years ago, that the stop words matter. But SEOs, again, because they have no idea what they're talking about, have missed that. So there's no way you could humanly count these up and calculate the score. There's no way a human could do this. A human could notice I'm missing a couple of entities, like these words here. Although nothing important. The missing entities doesn't have anything important. The only thing missing here is, looks like, oh, no, I don't see anything missing actually. So it's recounted. So that's good. We don't have missing entities. yet. In terms of the single words, we might have some double entities missing here. Divorce, if you apply for a divorce online, is probably the important ones here. Online divorce, that's a important one here. See, online divorce is important. You would never have known that, and I'm going to add your count right away to these as well. Okay, so that's the semantic score, and you need to be in the range. This strongly correlates with #1 rankings. I've single variable tested this. I know this for a fact. The next one that's important is all the spam scores. They need to be in the green, and your predictability. The predictability could be a little bit over. What does predictability mean? This means the average number of words you're allowed to have in a sentence. It's actually word pieces, tokens it's called. The number of tokens you're allowed in a sentence that is not business basic, prosaic, low quality writing. It doesn't actually matter if an AI wrote it. What matters, and Google has said this in public, we don't care about AI content. We don't care about auto-generated content. We were dealing with auto-generated content already. What we care about is low quality content. And Google wants to profit off of AI generating content just as much as everybody else does. So it makes sense for them to be like, we don't care if it's AI content. What we actually care about is if it is low quality content. And so this is kind of a measure of the quality of the content when it comes to the writing form. And here it's telling you that this is a 0.85 too high. We have an average that strongly correlates with rankings over hundreds of thousands of pages that we've now analyzed. So it's highly statistically significant. And I'm telling you the range is 4.11 to 4.13. You're allowed to have 4.13, 1, 2, 3, 4.1. You're allowed to have that many tokens in a row on average per sentence. That would be what the AI would generate, or what a very business basic low quality writer would generate, because that's what the AI is. At the end of the day, the AI was trained by reading the trillions of pages online, which the vast majority of them are spammy pages that are written with the most business basic, prosaic, at the end of the day, when you couch our terms, using colloquialisms that is low quality, it was a dark and stormy night kind of writing. And that's exactly how an AI writes and how a low quality writer writes. They're indistinguishable. And that's why we analyze that and we go for this. This one can be a few spots over. This one could be 1 or 2 spots over 74. It could be 75, 76. This one could be a few points, decimal points over 4.13. Like if it was 4.2, 4.3, I'd probably be fine with it. This high, I'm not fine enough with. I would fix this. I wouldn't have both of these in the red. I would only allow one of these two to be in the red. The other thing here is all the spam scores. All of these should be in the green, right? This should be 0% ideally. This should be under the competitors, and this should be under the competitors. That's telling you how many times you're stuffing in the EMQ in the body and the title tag. It's telling you how many times you're using the exact match in the headers, or you're using the partial match in the headers. It's too stuff. It's too SEO hot. It's got too many sentences like, at the end of if you want to buy red apples, you should use Josh Red Apples. Josh Red Apples, the best red apples you've ever red apples. Click red apples today. Like that kind of SEO sentence, that's exactly the kind of thing that Google is trying to penalize, because they do have anti-SEO algorithms. Sorry, cat. I have a very furry cat. I have a Maine Coon and a Siberian. And she's a big fat furry cat, so you see a lot of hairs. So those are the 3 main scores, and then the last score is the heat score. It's the helpfulness score. It means for helpfulness, experience, expertise, authoritativeness, trustworthiness. It increasingly is a very important score. It is increasingly important for ranking. I admit it's not as important as the first 3 I talked about. These 3 very strongly correlate with rankings. Heat doesn't correlate with rankings very well at all, but it's still just a good thing to use, and it's going to correlate with rankings more in the future as the AI gets better at detecting what's helpful. What does an authoritative person sound like when they talk in this niche? Who is an authoritative person? How will I tell that? Their AI is getting very good at doing this, right? So you want this to be in the green. You definitely want it to be in the green because you also want to have a helpful article. You want to have an insightful analysis that people find interesting, that goes beyond the obvious. You're going to want to draw on many sources and not just rewriting what other people say. You're going to want to see this kind of content, which is quality enough that you could see it in a printed magazine, because you want to impress people. You want people to trust it. You want people to think that there's expertise involved, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, a 7 is barely a pass here. A 6 is a failing grade. This is like a C. You need a C to pass in this particular test. Anything less than a 7 is bad, and 7 is just a passing grade anyway. And so if you're having trouble converting from that page, if you're having trouble getting it ranked in Google, making sure you have more than just 7s here in the heat score analysis can be important. That's my AI telling you, yeah, it's insightful, or yeah, it seems kind of complete, but it's not a 9 out of 10. It's not a 10 out of 10 score. And that's a very important score you can use both right away, if it's in the red especially, but later on, if you're having trouble converting the page or keeping it ranking. Because at the end of the day, you need those conversions. Google tracks every single user and every single thing they do. And if they do not convert on your page, whatever the step in the process is for a conversion, like you answered information on an informational query, okay, they were just informed, right? They read, they click things, they move their mouse over things. It's very interesting to watch how people read a page, actually, if you've ever done it. In Hotjar or Clarity or an application like that is crucial to install. There's another huge tip. To fix your SEO and to fix your sales, you need to install Hotjar or Clarity. You need to watch what people do on the page to see if they're reading the information. Can they even find the information? Is your page loading too slowly? All of that will sync both your ranking and your sales. So that's another very important thing to do. But my heat score is going to help you because the AI reads the content and it makes kind of a determination of how good your content's doing. And so the heat score is crucial. It's crucial. Like I say in Underground SEO University, OnPage, you need the sheet, right? You got to be the sheet. And that is of course a play on words, a joke. But the acronym is you need the semantic keywords, you need the helpful keywords, you need the expertise words, the experience words, the authority words, so you get the trust, and also the timely keywords. Say like, you can get this now, buy now, do this now, get it today. And also like top tips on how to get carbide burrs 2025. They want to know that this is relevant information. And what Google calls that is QDF, query deserves freshness. And you can Google all these terms I'm using. They're all mostly from Google. QDF stands for query deserves freshness. And they want to rank fresh content when the query deserves it. And I got a little hint for you. 99% of the queries deserve freshness because the newest information is going to be the better information for the user. So that's what the scores mean, and that's how we take subjective. You have to make high quality content, and we've made that high quality content objective into these factual numbers, which very strongly correlate with rankings. I mean, so strongly the correlation, there's obviously causation there. And I've single variable tested this as well. You need to get these top 3 here. You definitely need to be in the green. Only one of these can be in the red, and only like a few points out. If this was under 64, I guarantee this page wouldn't be here. You can be a little bit over. Would you believe, and it's true, but would you believe that being under optimized is worse than being over optimized, despite the protestations of the white hats and Google notwithstanding? To be under optimized, to mention these entities too little, in too little frequency, in too little variation, is the kiss of death for SEO. Because Google's not sure at the end of the day that you are enough about this topic. The only way Google knows you are enough about this topic to have the statistical chance to have properly answered the question when they finally put you on stage and give you a try is that you mention this and all of the knowledge graph entities that are related to this, which is all of this in a certain frequency in exactly the way my AI did it, all of this. You can't say process a million times. You can only say it once, right? There's no way a human could do this by hand. There's no way a human could do this by hand. Otherwise, we'd still be doing it by hand and I wouldn't have wasted my money and time building this thing. So, because it's much easier. My life would be much easier. I mean, it's a great tool, don't get me wrong, but it's been a pain in the ass to make. And to have to be a CEO of this company and of SEO University is doubling my workload and all the client SEO that I do. Now I'm working 3 jobs, which at 50, I'd like to be working less than 3 jobs, but that's the way that it went. So, but it's a good tool and I want to support it. And we need to use it for SEO anyway, so I don't really have a choice because no one makes a tool like this. So I have to support it, right? And why am I telling you this? Why am I being so transparent? Because I want you to know that I'm not lying to you. I want you to realize, oh yeah, this makes sense. Josh is not lying to me. It makes sense that he had to do all this. You know, it tracks. I want you to know that. And the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the proof I've shown of the rankings that people get both in underground SEO University, and I'll show you the proof if you want. We have public proof. Go to bit.ly/SEO proof. bit.ly/SEO It's just a Dropbox folder where I throw all of our wins in there from Underground SEO University and from SEO Copilot, which really the two entities are hard to separate. All the knowledge comes from Underground University and all the on-page comes from SEO Copilot. They're really co-joined at this point, quite frankly. A win for one is a win for the other, quite frankly, because there's no way you could separate them at this point. On-page is very important for ranking. You'll see all the proof there, or I'm happy to show you the proof live on the show if you want me to show you the proof, including how we got into the AI overview as well. Okay, so that's the scores. That's what they mean. They're very, very important. Now let us go back here to the reports. And let's go here, and all the reports will be done by now, but we generated an article on carbide burr buddings, and looks like they made the article, and woohoo! My AI looks like a pretty good job, and put most of these already in the green. It actually did too good a job. Look at this. It got it right. It's dead on. That's it. All you need to do is put in your actual products in here and clean this page up a little bit is all you need to do. Because the pages were pretty short. Around an 800 word page, it pretty much nails. Okay, but like I said, we're humans. AI is not replacing us anytime soon. We need to go in here and actually make this work. So we need to make sure the table of contents here actually works. We need to go into the HTML and check it here. We need to make sure that these actually link to something. It looks like they do. Products, specifications. Looks like, yeah, we have an ID specification. So that works. That's great. We also need to come, we have an image here, a placeholder for an image, it looks like. Yeah, this is a placeholder for a main section image. See, that's how they embed the content. So that's why they embed a section in a main. That's why my AI did it this way. Do you see all the research coming into action here in the final product? But you need to actually make an image for this, right? It can't just steal someone's image from online. So you're going to have to put an image in here. Another thing you're going to need to do is you're going to have to put the actual prices in here and put your real add to cart button in here. It put in kind of a dummy. It put in another image here. It put in a dummy. So it's telling you, put in placeholders where you need to replace the content to be important. And I'll show you all the easy ways to do that in a second. Actually, I'll show that to you now. Actually, let me go through the whole thing. And you're going to have to fix a couple of things here. Like the get in touch and all this is a little too, it made 2 of those sections because they're so important. So I'll do that. I'll delete that there. Here's the conclusion. The final thing now, get in touch. You need to put in your actual contact form. You need to make the date correct and actually put your company in here. And then you're going to need to have to actually put in your actual social media. This is all stuff that my AI noticed. You need to have this. You need to have this as per the competitor HTML widgets. Look what they have. They have these things. You also need actual testimonials for the customers, and you need the actual star ratings that you got. And it's best if those are public and not made up. That's for the best. And I feel like, well, Josh, I don't want to, how come the AI is not smart enough to know these things? Because the AI is not a mind reader. How would it possibly know these things just off the bat? Steven says, and some of those elements are built into your existing theme. Yep, for sure they are. If they're built into your theme, you can remove them, for sure. That's for sure. Well, here's the thing. So there's a bunch of ways you can add this. You can manually add it now, take 5 minutes, and then publish the page. You can also click, when you click generate article, you have these things you can do. You can override the topic of the article. I don't recommend you do, and you can add extra instructions at the end if you want here. I could type them in. I don't recommend you do. My AI, as you can see, often does a very good job on its own, and actually you're probably going to ruin it. I mean, no offense, but you might ruin it if you don't know really what you're doing here. Same thing with the AI analysis of the page type. This, if you leave this sentence here and leave it alone, it's going to take the HTML that it saw and it's going to stick it in here just like you saw. But if you're like, Josh, I want to generate 100 of these pages. I don't want to have to do this manually every time. Isn't there a way I can inform the AI as to my product prices and my testimonials? The answer is yes. All you do is use a custom knowledge base. You click this and you choose a file and you import a file. And what does the file look like? It has a certain file format structure. It's a whatever.txt file. And basically, it's just clear, comprehensive writing instructions. At the end of the day, it's nothing more than a writer's brief. And it has the information, and it looks like this. Now, don't get confused. This is all one file. I just broke it into sections. All of this would be in the text file, right? So you would say, use this author profile. You say, here's the author profile if you have one. Here's the bio. Here's her Twitter handle. You could actually make this a link. It would use it. And you say, write about this product. You say, here's my price. Here's the stars. Here's the name of the product. Here's the key points to consider. And you say, use these testimonials. Here's the ratings. Here's the actual testimonial. Here's from the actual person. Don't make up the testimonials. And you can actually put a link here to where they can get the testimonial. I would make a bit.ly to make the link smaller. But I would take the link from Yelp or from Google My Business or from Amazon or whatever. And I would link, although I remember Google saying you shouldn't use Amazon reviews. So maybe scratch the thing about Amazon. But if you have a real review from somewhere else, I would use it, quite frankly. And the AI will use this. The AI, instead of saying carbide burrs, it'll say the ultra carbide burr, right? Or this was for ultra pet, this was for ultra pet, it's a fictitious name. This was for the search CBD oil for cats, which people, as a thing they buy for their cats. CBD oil for cats, CBD oil for cats. And instead of, so I'm trying to rank for CBD oil for cats, but then I want to stuff that word in a bunch of times, of course, but then I want to sell Ultra Pet TM oil for cats. So I made a fictitious product and told my AI to write about it with a fictitious price and 4-star ratings, and it did because I gave it this writing instructions. So that's how you, if you have to generate a whole bunch, and this is what I do here. You see I have one of my clients, and here's the actual custom knowledge base I use for him. And whenever I'm generating an article, I give him all this information. I say, use these rules. I say, use these perks. These are his perks. Here's the seasonal promotions, the perks that he has. And then I say, here's the testimonials you can use. Use these testimonials. Here's the actual link to where they come from, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so it uses this information. Okay, let's get rid of that. Any more questions here, guys? Don't know if anyone's still watching here. Okay, great. Okay, it's one of those Fridays. It's Easter weekend, so a lot of people took today off. That's why we have such a low viewership. So I thank you everyone for watching, and I thank you for being here on the call. And then you can say, yeah, use the custom knowledge base, generate the URL title, meta description, and away you go. And so, so this is great. I'm already in the green for all of this. Let's also run the H1 spam score, see if there's a problem with this. Now, because this article worked, and it's a long weekend, we don't want to be here forever, I'm not going to break the article so I can show you how to fix it. Because the article worked, I'm only 0.4 over. I can leave this, right? This is 4.2 to 4.3. I would leave this alone. This is perfectly fine. What we also have here is, I mean, that's fine. It's like 50%. It's not crazy about it, really. Why do we keep having these errors? Here's another one. Also, this did not work for some reason. API failure. Sometimes our APIs fail. no competitor average. All the stuff usually works. It is a work in progress. And it's well worth using and well worth keeping. Here's something missing though. Look, I'm not mentioning all these important entities. This is something I can add. Actually, I could show you how to add. So Bunnings, Tungsten, Burr, Bits, and Grinder. So okay, so I'll take this and I'll go to CP and I'll say, please add an intro paragraph at the top. Not the first para, but maybe the second one that mentions naturally all these ideas. So we want to mention this and this and this and this. Boom. So now CP, which is our co-pilot, which tells you how to do SEO, or at least OnPage, and how to use the tool, and also can help you do a lot of SEO, it'll do that for me. It'll be like, okay, so it takes this, boom, put this here, boom. Okay, great. I don't even have an introductory paragraph. Boom, put that there. Boom, okay, fine. Rerun this. Now it took me a little bit over, but I don't care. I can be a little bit over, that's fine. And now I'm gonna go to here to rerun this. Now I go here and check here and boom. They're all mentioned except for Burr, B-U-R. So now I go here. A Burr. Actually, no. Don't want that. This. Burr. I can put it here. Boom. All right, fine. I don't know what that means. I don't know what it is, but I put it in there. Save it. And now you can see, now I have actually used all of the important entities. It's single word entities now. The other thing I need to check is I'm using all the double word entities enough. Carbide burrs. Tungsten carbide burr is another important one that I need to use. So do I say carbide burrs? Yep, I'm sure I do. Carbide burrs. Yeah, I say it like 19-ish times. Probably enough for sure. You only need to say that 5 times. Tungsten, yeah, I say tungsten. So that's probably good. So that's fine. This can be a couple points over. This can be a couple points over, but I wouldn't go with any more than that. So that's good. If you want to see when this is way under or this is way over, how to fix that, look at previous courses I've done on previous Fridays. All right, guys. So, and that's it. It didn't use Bunnings when that was the keyword. Carbide burr Bunnings. Yeah, it might not. That is a way that people are searching it. It might be like, you know what? Bunnings is not a way that people usually refer to this. So it put in, but we've put in Bunnings here. We got them here. We got them in here about 8 times. I got it in here once. Carbide burr Bunnings. You can put it in there. Depends how many times the competitors are saying the EMQ. The competitors are not saying it fully. Otherwise, we have a full number here. So we don't want to probably to say that. That'd be too hot. But I could say or Bunnings. I could put that in there a few times. A few little tweaks, and that when we'd get that on the second round through, right? We would index this page now that we got the numbers as close as we want to get them. And then we would try to index it, try to rank it. And if it didn't do well, we'd come back one more time and maybe dot a few I's, cross a few T's, and then move on to other kinds of SEO. But it's really easy, guys. That's it. In a nutshell, that's how you get that done. It's actually super simple to do. And so that's where I'll end for today. Now let's move on to I'll answer the questions and do the gifts. But it's really simple. Let's start from the lower base, finding the keywords you want to rank for that make you the most money, to make you more money sooner and to make you succeed, whereas everyone else fails around you, to doing the keyword reports and not having to worry about that. Bullcrap SEO, I'm eyeballing it, and then it builds the pages. All you have to do is tweak a couple things, check a couple numbers out, and you're off to the races. It took me, 20 minutes to make that page? And it takes anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour. I would have to fill in the actual various things that I need in that page, the testimonials, the ratings, the actual prices and whatnot. But it would have done that if I had given it a custom knowledge base. And move on to the next page so I can get a site weight high enough that I can actually compete in this niche. Dimitri says, that was pretty cool. I'm glad you liked it. I like it too. It is a much easier way of doing SEO. SEO has never been so easier. SEO has never been easier or never been so easy. It's a godsend. It's amazing the way that it works now. So I'm super excited about it. You should join the revolution. We have a ton of rankings doing it. Let me show you here. I guess I will brag slightly here. Let me go here to our wins. So as you can see, we have a ton of wins here. This is SEO University. This is us getting wins in Perplexity, even though who cares? Perplexity has no search share. In the AI, in the normal rankings, in the AI overview, getting better rankings over time. Site weight and site content matter. Building rankings up like this. Positive ranking results and surveys from nowhere to position 11 in one day. Building up content like this. Building up content like this. Building up positive ranking results from another survey. Building up content like this and like this. Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Guys, it works. So get in on the AI revolution now. All right. So thanks everyone for listening or watching. Now's the time for questions. So please fire questions in the chat. Fire questions in YouTube if anyone's watching there. Whether it's live or not, go ahead, ask your questions. I'll try to answer them whenever I can. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to do the draw. So to see who gets the free SEO Power Hour. So let me go back here to my email. And in terms of the SEO Power Hour, how many people did I have apply? I had sales@shining.com TW apply, and Dimitri apply. Dimitri's here. All right, so I'm going to generate a number here. I'm going to use a D6, six-sided die. Odd is Dimitri, even is sales, and I rolled a 1. So Dimitri, congratulations, Dimitri. You get the sale. You won the SEO Power Hour audit. Send me your URL and we'll get started. We'll get the ball rolling. So congratulations, Dimitri. Okay, so there's that done. Now, the next thing done is the gifts. I promise gifts. So Underground SEO University, the think tank where we come up with all the SEO tactics you need, and SEO Copilot, I have huge discounts for those. So SEO University teaches you everything you need to do with SEO. It teaches you everything you need and will help you succeed in SEO. Whether it's a small project or you want to make SEO your career, SEO University is the place for you. Underground SEO University, which is the full name, Underground SEO University, because we like to stay underground. Like we don't like to broadcast what we know because then Google will change it. So that's the problem, right? They do listen to groups. Excuse me. So, and the thing is that back 10 years ago when I started Underground SEO University, you wouldn't believe how much I charged. I charged $500 a month for this information and people were signing up like crazy. Now you can get into to our first level access for Underground SEO University for only $44 a month. That's right. Instead of $500, you can get in for $44 a month. A month, that's like what? 10% of the cost. You save 90%. So that is the sale I got on now for you. That's a huge sale. But you need this coupon code. I'm going to give it to the Zoom people first, and then after you guys have had your first chance, because there's limited spots, I'll give it to everybody else. So email me at joshbashinsky@gmail.com for SEOU access. Use promo code, this promo code here. Also, and I should actually, so everyone can email me, like as if I was some kind of professional. I should have actually made that my name here. So anyone can email me now. So there's that. And there's also, I can also give you up to 100% off on SEO Copilot if you sign up for certain SEO University tiers. Or I have other crazy coupons for SEO Copilot, 30% off, even 50% off, depending on the level that you need access to. So again, email me as well. Email me as well for coupon code for SEO Copilot. SEO CPE. So whatever the budget you're working with, I can help you out. I want you to succeed. That's why I'm here, right? When you succeed at SEO, I feel a little bit better about the world. And all you have to do is email me, and I can massage it and get you into kind of what you need to get into. So that I gave that to the Zoom people first. All right, guys. So now is your 30 seconds to ask me questions, especially those folks who are here on the YouTube. If there's anyone watching, there's one other person watching at the moment. Again, like I said, a lazy Friday. If you have any questions, make sure you ask them here on the YouTube. It's about 20 seconds ahead, so I'll watch for a question here, and I'll force refresh just to make sure that I get to all of your questions. Make sure you like and subscribe and share this with your friends who are trying to do SEO. I can already see myself saying if you have questions there. Otherwise, guys, fire questions in. Try to stump me. Ask me any questions you want. I'll also scroll up and make sure I answer your questions on the Zoom here. Ask me any questions you want. I'm going to be answering them. Okay, let me do a final force refresh here on the YouTubes. And no more questions on YouTube. Great. All right, guys. So thanks very much for listening and watching. I'm going to turn off the broadcast now and go into the SEO Ask Me Anything for the Zoom folks here. Again, if you want to join the Ask Me Anything SEO thing that I do here, go to SEOcopilotai.com, go to resources, and click on OnPage SEO Copilot Training. That's the training where I will put you in the draw for the SEO Power Hour. I basically do this every Friday, so sign up for a Friday. And that's the free OnPage SEO Secrets tutorial, that's what you watched. And I will add you guys in, and I'll be happy to answer your questions. Showing my email. All right, guys. So I'm going to stop broadcasting now. Thanks everyone for watching on YouTube. Good luck in the SERPs. You can win at SEO, and I want to see those wins. Email me what wins you're getting. I'd love to see them. I get unsolicited emails from people all the time saying, I used SEO Copilot, and look, I'm ranking, woohoo, and they're excited. They're like, woohoo, this is great, and it is great. So you guys will see the same success, I hope. And if you're not, I want to hear about it too, because I want to help you out and make sure you succeed. All right, thanks guys for listening and watching. Let me turn off the live streaming. And now we're going to go to the SEO Ask Me Anything.